international journals. In addition to his research, Dr. Nirav teaches as an associate professor at Homi Bhabha National Institute, where he has guided over 48 students at various levels. His work has earned him significant recognition, including the Kansai Nerolac Young Researcher Award in 2015 and the Fellow Award from ASM International USA in 2023 for his contribution to plasma processing. As we dive into today's discussion, I would like to inform the audience that our speaker will be taking your questions after the main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat box or use raise hand tool and we will allow you to ask your questions in person. So without further ado, let us welcome Dr. Nirav to share his insights and expertise on plasma technology. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'd like to thank you, everyone. I welcome all the participants of this workshop for being curious to know what plasma technology is and how it can benefit our day-to-day life. So I'd like to start off with Radhika. Can you share the slides?
Sure.
Yeah, should I? Yeah, so the topic of today's talk was on trash to treasure. So what we have been working all together is how we can make plasmas beneficial to the society, and so that we have a tagline: harnessing plasmas for a better tomorrow. So at the Institute for Plasma Research, we do a lot of work on plasma science and technology, of course, for the main institution's main goal. But the plasma gasification technology or plasma pyrolysis technology, which is branded as Rodra, uh, is a spin-off of our main know-how, which has been very instrumental and helpful in waste disposal arena. So I am presenting this talk on behalf of the entire technology team who has developed and who has contributed uh, to the technology. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so the Institute for Plasma Research, as some of you may be aware, or some of you may be hearing this name for the first time. So the Institute for Plasma Research is an aided institute of the Department of Atomic Energy, which aims at working on tokamak-based magnetic confinement fusion research in India. And it's a nodal institute for all plasma science and technology related R&D. It had established uh, while working on a lot of basic plasma science and technology. In 97, there had been a new development wherein a separate center for societal and industrial benefits was established. So this center, named as Facilitation Center for Industrial Plasma Technologies, links the institute with the industries and tries to address the societal and industrial applications. Apart from this, the institute also has one center in the northeastern region, that is Center for Plasma Physics, CPP IPR Guwahati, and that center also works on basic plasma sciences and a lot of technology applications. It has recently also been very active in acting as a nodal point for all startup and outreach incubation activities. Apart from this, the Institute for Plasma Research is also the lead organization representing India in the multinational international project ITER, International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, being established in France. India, IPR is representing India through ITER India board. And apart from that, recently in December 2023, the institute has established an Atal Incubation Center, it's named as Plasma Tech Innovation Foundation. And this is a Section 8 company, and it is aimed to support all deep tech startups, especially those wanting the need and support of plasma-based technologies and expertise available at IPR. So this is situated in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. So next, please. So about plasma, most of us have known plasmas in our day-to-day life through lightning. So plasma is another state of matter. Solids, when we give energy to solids, they get converted to liquids. And uh, when we give energy to liquids, they get converted to gases. And when we give further energy to gases, they get converted to plasma technologies. Plasma as a medium. So plasma is a fourth state of matter comprising of ions, electrons, and neutrals. Now this is a very, very reactive uh, state of matter, and we try to make this reactive state of matter interact with all the rest of the three states of matters. Next, please. Yeah, so broadly in a layman's language, we classify or we differentiate plasmas largely into two forms. One is a high temperature plasmas or hot plasmas. We call it thermal plasmas. And the another plasma is non-thermal plasma, which is we often refer to as cold plasma. So here the thermal plasmas are those which have very, very high temperatures. So we call in scientific terms, we call that electron temperature and the gas temperature are equal. And therefore, the temperatures are very high. And also that the non in comparison to this, the non-thermal plasmas are those which are relatively low temperatures. It may range from room temperature to say 300 400 degrees temperature. Here in this, the degree of ionization is less, and therefore the gas temperature is much, much lower than the electron temperature. And that is the reason it is known as cold plasma. Next. So why do we use plasmas for so many applications? Because it's a very active state of matter. It is very, very reactive. So what it does is accelerates the chemical reactions, which is otherwise there are certain chemical reactions which have their own pace based on thermodynamics, but plasma accelerates these reactions. And it is also a very good source of heat, especially the thermal plasmas. They are very good source of heat, and it also provides homogeneity across the exposure to materials, especially the non-thermal plasma, glow discharge plasma. And it is the main part of it is that it is eco-friendly, environment friendly. You don't see a lot of effluents being generated by this technology. Next, please. So we work on plasmas for several different applications. As we can see here, if in case of solids, we can do surface etching, plasma etching, all semiconductor devices, they are plasma etched. So there is no semiconductor or electronic circuit which has not gone through plasmas. So there are several applications from polymers to metals and ceramics as well, which can be used, which are improve the properties based on the surface activation using plasma. Then there are surface assisted diffusion coatings where the species from plasma penetrate the surface and reach the subsurface region. These are, for example, diffusion nitrided coating, plasma based diffusion nitrided coatings. Uh, we are happy to say that after INSAT 2E, all the satellite gears of Indian satellite that had been sent in the outer space are plasma nitrided, most of them at our place, and later on they have now their own facility which we help them to set up. Then there are overlay coatings where we merely deposit coatings. We all know the titanium nitride, the golden color of the watches. They are largely titanium nitrides, which are used for decorative coatings, and these kind of coatings are based on plasma magnetron sputtering technique. Then the fourth is the bulk modification, where we use thermal plasma for melting and smelting applications. So our talk will be largely linked with this area, wherein we are trying to dispose of the waste using thermal plasmas. Right. The last field is plasma for communications. Plasma has been extensively found useful in communication technologies. Next, please. So these are general applications of plasmas for mining and constructions. We have used in automotive industry. We have used for hydropower industry. We have used in metallurgical industry, aerospace industry, defense, biomedical, environment, textile, etc. Next. So these are different types of plasmas that we play around with. First one is a pencil dot. You can see the thumb, and the thumb is the plasma is touching the thumb, which indicates that it is not that hot plasma that we think every time. So there are thermal plasma. The third first row, third image is the thermal plasmas which are used, and the last one is a stent wire guide, discharge on a stent wire guide. Next, please. So these are just a couple of work areas. We work on environment, we work on energy, industry, strategic, societal, and health. We have worked, we also used artificial intelligence and deep learning for specific medical applications related to radiology. We have also worked on medical applications for skin treatment, for various other applications. We have also been working extensively on air purification, water purification, environment, etc. Next, please. Yeah, so coming to the waste uh, generation scenario, India, because it's a very populous country, it is very obvious that the waste generated is based on per capita uh, occupancy, and therefore it is obvious that we would be we would be very fairly large waste generator. So what happens is there are lakhs of tons of MSW generated per day. And I have given a very low figure of 1500 tons per day in big cities. But so the worst part is the calorific value. Generally, all municipal solid waste treatment systems have not been successful to a very large extent in India, is for the primary reason that it does not have that kind of calorific value. uh, this calorific value is very important if you want to extract energy from waste. Like all the uh, a lot of European countries and in US also, there have been gasification being done from MSW, municipal solid waste, but that is because the waste comprises of good calorific value waste also. In India, there have been selective plastic removal from the waste, which is again a source of income for the marginalized uh, people coming from poor background. And so here, and also Indian municipal solid waste comprises of a lot of moisture. So these are some bottleneck. Almost 40% are in inorganics, means they are stones and inorganic materials, sand, stone, everything. So next, please. Yeah, so these are just a glimpse of various types of waste: plastic waste, biomedical waste, tire waste. In one of the talks long time back in 2005, Lieutenant General V.K. Dheer, that time he was from the EME. He gave a talk in the IIM Ahmedabad at the Innovators of India conference. And that time he gave a number that India generates around 1 lakh tons of waste tires per year. So from defense vehicles. So this needs to be addressed, and plasma is surely one alternate option for energy recovery, etc. Next, please. Yeah, these are chemical and hazardous waste. As we all know, a lot of highly toxic uh, uh, chemicals are generated from a lot of chemical industries. and this needs to be disposed of very, very carefully because they are potential sources for increase in cancer cases. And plasma is one technology which helps destroys these kind of carcinogens. Next, please. So present practice of municipal solid waste is landfill sites. Leachate formation is a toxic thing when the rainfall happens. The leachate is collected on the ground, and this leachate may comprise of hexavalent chrome, comprise of arsenic, because there are a lot of batteries and other things also occasionally which are thrown casually in our dustbins. So all these are potential threats, and the other option is incineration, burning. It is a good thing that in the recent years there have been alternate waste disposal techniques which are emerging. Of course, on a large scale and sustainable way, most of these technologies are yet to be demonstrated. uh, Another waste which is very critical is the biomedical waste. We all saw in the during the COVID times how important it was to dispose of these kind of infectious waste. And therefore, generally, conventionally, incineration or burning and autoclaving is the option which is being currently implemented. Of course, biomedical waste management rules are one of the most clearly laid out rules. And uh, then the third thing is the toxic or hazardous waste or an industrial waste, which may comprise of toxic chemicals. Next, please. Yeah, so waste disposal, the incineration is mainly dependent on burning. So we first of all use a lot of fuel, furnace oil, or say diesel, those kind of fuels, along with a lot of air and oxygen, which is used for burning of the waste. Now, this burning of the waste not only creates environmental issues, but it also leads to the generation of pollutants such as NOx, which is non-stoichiometric nitrogen oxide, and these are not good for health. Next, please. Yeah, so what is pyrolysis? Pyrolysis is basically when in combustion we use excess of oxygen so that every carbon molecule is oxidized and releasing high temperature. So that's why combustion is an exothermic process. You don't need electricity. On the other side, pyrolysis is providing very high temperature but without any oxygen in presence, so without any oxygen or air, and therefore any organic waste materials such as plastic or polymers, they would start degrading at higher temperatures in absence of oxygen. So they would get converted to gases. Now, this is what we exploit here using the Raudra plasma technology. So next, please. So Raudra plasma pyrolysis technology is involves the disintegration of organic waste or polymeric waste using thermal plasma torch as a heat source. So we don't need oxygen or air to raise the temperature, and the temperatures are very, very high temperatures, close to 5,000 degrees at the core of the plasma torch. And the average the plasma torch power is controllable, so we can regulate the temperature in both primary and secondary temperature chambers. Then what happens is, because of this very high temperature and in absence of air or oxygen, the waste sublimates to gases. And these gases are mainly methane, are broken down. The long chain molecule is broken down into smaller molecules such as methane, uh, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, water vapor, etc. And these gases, because they are combustible, they are combusted for medical waste, they are combusted in the secondary chamber, which generates around 1100 degrees temperature for 2 seconds, and then it is quenched. But if it is not biomedical waste and the waste is good for energy recovery, then that in such cases the gases from the primary chamber are extracted and scrubbed, and then they can be clubbed with the gas generator to generate electricity, or can also be used for process heating. Next, please. So these are carcinogen destruction. As you can see here, what happens is there has been a specific temperature window in which the carcinogen formation is very, very strong. Like for example, from 400 to 600 degrees, the carcinogen formation is very, very high, and this can be destroyed at very high temperatures. And so you can see here the dioxin, furan, benzene, dichloromethane, hexachlorobenzene, all these are carcinogens, and these are destroyed at several temperatures, as you can see here. So we keep temperatures which are able to break down all these molecules, and therefore the plasma Raudra plasma technology has found the almost negligible content. So there was no carcinogen formation resulting from this process. Next, please. So this is CPCB monitored emissions. CPCB had funded us a research project to investigate whether plastics can be used for energy recovery. And we successfully demonstrated that from plastics we can generate syngas or combustible gases, which can then be clubbed with gas genset, and can be used for electricity generation. And the pollutants were way below the CPCB limit set by CPCB. And the dioxin furans were also based on the least count of the machine. So machine could not detect below that. And this was all done by third party agencies appointed by the CPCB. And next, please. So this is the first plasma system that was installed in Goa Medical College as a demonstration system funded by DST. And on the left hand side, you can see the letter issued by CPCB uh, indicating that the technology has been adopted in the Gazette of India. And we are very happy that this technology was formally accepted as one of the technologies for waste disposal, biomedical waste disposal. Next, please. So what are the saline features? Basically, we have a very high volume reduction technology. Less than 1% of uh, inerts would be remaining in the waste. If we have 100% organic waste, the volume of the ash that will be remaining will be less than 1%, which is very, very high volume reduction. And it has very low footprint because the plasma, because it's a very high heat source and very high heat flux is provided, so the volume of the chamber and the footprint is very, very low. It also leads to very high preheating, very fast preheating, which results in saving of time. And it, because the thermal plasma has is a UV source also, apart from very high temperature, it sterilizes everything within the chamber. It avoids carcinogen possibility, and it is a green technology. It runs on electricity. So if we have a renewable energy supplying energy to this, it can be a purely green energy, and it can be used for uh, carbon credits. No need in, see, one of the major things that this technology, which is a proprietary technology of the Institute for Plasma Research, is that we don't supply any gases. There is no plasma gen gas provided in this. So we do not have a water cooled torch. We do not have a gas being supplied in the plasma torch. So here, what happens is that the pollution is less. In conventional systems, if you provide air, you will generate a lot of NOx emissions. Here, because we do not supply extra air or any extra gas from outside, the volume of gas is pretty less. It's only the if 1 kg of plastic is there, it gets converted to the meter cube of gas it would be, and that's the only thing. So the resultant gas handling system is also less. So from that perspective, also the system is compact. Next, please. So there are several types of waste that can be treated using this technology: biomedical waste, plastic waste, cotton waste, agro waste, floral waste, petrochemical waste, tannery waste, all organic waste, and preferably dry because it consumes energy. Plasma otherwise does not have any issues if it comprises of say 20% moisture or 30% moisture also, because plasma is the energy or heat will get spent in vaporizing the water. So it is better that the water is dried out first, and it can be then be efficiently treated. Next, please. Yeah, so these are prototype for solid waste was installed in GIFT City as a first smart city demonstration project, and it was a point 0.2 TPD plant, and which was working. It worked for around 3 to 4 years. Now the expansion plan is going on. Next, please. So here, waste as an alternate energy source is being taken care of. So these are emerging. Waste is emerging as an alternate fuel, replacement of fossil fuel. For example, plastics. If we consume 1.5 kilowatt per kg of plastic waste, we can generate around 2 to 2.5 or up to 3 kilowatts uh, power in per kg of plastic waste, which is surplus energy. And there are also possibility of plastic blended MSW, like for example RDF. So RDF can be appropriately blended in such a way that the average calorific value of the waste is 3,500 or 4,000 kilocalories. So in that case, it will become surplus energy. So it will be more than the break even, and that's how it can be made sustainable. Other ways of making it more sustainable is to use low cost energy such as wind energy. The wind energy is right now very, very cheap, even in comparison with the solar energy. And a tie-up with the wind energy being fed into the plasma system, thermal plasma Rodra system, can lead to very economically viable proposal. Then there are agro waste, dairy waste. Dairy waste is very, very rich. It is around 6,000 to 8,000 kilocalorie per kg, which can be a very good source of energy recovery. Then there are tire waste. Of course, this is a very, very high calorific value waste, but it needs special care because it has a lot of sulfur also, and the carbon. So there has to be a little bit of modification in the system to cater to the tire waste. And of course, petrochemical waste, we have done some work previously. Next slide, please. Yeah. So here we have demonstrated for DRDO, then we have demonstrated for next, please, for one of the petrochemical companies. So these are certain data based on what we had uh, conducted. We could generate very good syngas from the petrochemical waste, which is a very good thing. And so that this also becomes a possibility for hydrogen production. Next, please. So we have also installed one system at CSM CRI CSIR lab, Bhavnagar, for experimental system for disposal of solvent waste. And this is they all try conduct all these kind of studies to dispose all different kind of solvents. Next, please. This is an interesting slide where we were approached by the Varanasi Temple Trust, and they had indicated that the floral waste, let us say bilipatra and flowers, was around 4 tons per day. And the Kashi Vishwanath temple alone was generating around 2 tons per day of floral waste. And because this is pious waste, it was not thrown in dustbin, it was being thrown in Ganga. Now the scenario has changed. They have adopted eco-friendly measures. Maybe I understand it is composting technique they have adopted, but our proposal was a little bit different with a sentimental approach. So what we had proposed is next, please. Uh, I think we came. Okay, so what we had proposed is the floral waste has some moisture, so it can be. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, this one. So here, if you see the flower waste is first, there is the flower waste, water is removed, and then the flower waste, which has some moisture, is fed into a rotary dryer. Now, this rotary dryer is fed with hot air, which is extracted from the plasma system. So this dried floral waste is fed into the plasma system, which leads to the generation of hot combustible gases. And these hot combustible gases are then, after cleaning, they can be sent to crematorium. So imagine that a person is cremated using the flowers and the offerings made to the temple. So that is something which has a sentimental connection with the public, and therefore we had proposed it so that it also caters to the cremation requirements in the local Varanasi region. And of course, the high temperature, when it comes, combustible gases, when they come out of the chamber, they are at very high temperature. So we use the heat and extract the heat out, and we use them in the rotary dryer. So this also reduces the energy consumption required for the plasma technology. Next, please. Yeah, there was an option for hybridization where we had proposed uh, solar cells on the rooftop. Next, please. So this was just an example. So we are not specifically addressing one thing, but this is just for holy places that plasma gasification plant for floral waste can result in very good business model. Next, please. Yeah, there are social selling points for this. It was addressing Swachh Bharat, then it was also addressing the Clean Ganga option, and it is 100% make in India. Nothing comes from outside. Every small component of this system has been made in India. Next, please. Then there are waste tires. As you can see, the tires comprises of steel wires, and it also comprises of a lot of carbon black. So when we do the plasma gasification, we can generate steel wires, and we can also extract out carbon black, and we can generate combustible gases. So there are syngas, there are stainless steel recyclable as scrap. It can also have residue or ash. It can be used in cement plants and roads, and it can be used for production of chemicals. Sulfur can be used for production of chemicals. Next, please. So this is just a slide on what do we do. We interact with industries, we interact with entrepreneurs, and they come up with their ideas, or they come up with the requirement that they want to do X, Y, Z R&D to develop a specific project. So we do technology development, application development, feasibility studies. We also do contract research. Somebody wants to study whether their uh, something is feasible or not. Then we do equipment development and supply, but this is only for those equipments which are commercially not available. We make customized systems as required. We do technology transfer licensing. We also do scientific and technical consultancy. And we also run a job shop for demonstrating that technologies developed by us are feasible on a large scale. So we regularly run a job shop where the benefit industry sends their job to us. We do the treatment and hand them back on a nominal fee per kg basis. And we have established a technology business incubator, which is named as Plasma Tech Innovation Foundation. And we give access to all the incubators to the state of art infrastructure, as well as the expertise available with the Institute for Plasma Research. Next, please. Yeah, so there are several technologies. I'll not go much into details. We have worked from outer space to deep geology, everything coming in between. So now, wherever plasmas are beneficial, we are ready to work. Next, please. So these are small various systems that we have demonstrated at different parts of India. We have supplied these kind of systems, and the red dots, as you see, are our technology transfer partners. And there are several other systems and projects that we have executed with others. Next, please. So these are our technology transfer partners. And next, please. So these are our clients. As you can see, these are national and international clients who have worked with us on sponsored basis. Next, please. Yeah, so our purpose of establishing the incubator is to make the technology roll out from the lab to the industry. It also facilitates that there are sometimes there are only capabilities existing, technologies are yet to be proven. So those cases where the Plasma Tech Innovation Foundation support these kind of causes, somebody comes with a bright idea, we are ready to incubate them, and it has to be through a process. So if anybody is interested in setting up a startup idea, we'll be definitely would like to consider reviewing the application. So interested people can always email it to us at ptts@ipr.res.in and technology@ipr.res.in. Next, please. Yeah. Thank you very much. The slides are now open now for questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a information-packed session. So before we move on to the Q&A, I would like to request the audience to take 30 seconds to answer a poll. The purpose of the poll is to understand you a little better so that we get better topics to you. So while you take the survey, I would like to invite our founder, Ms. Rivani Mullapudi, to initiate the Q&A. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Dr. Neerav Jamnapara. It's a very proud moment to see that you're saying that this technology is from our country. And the confidence with which you are explaining the whole thing and hand-holding the startups, agreeing to handhold the startups to do something like this is amazing, amazing. Yeah, and I'd also like to thank all the participants. When Vishwa first started environmental talks, we had 20 people. If we had a talk on children, we would even get 500. But if it was on environment, 20. And we have seen a remarkable change in the last 3 years. The interest in the environment, the want to do something for environment, to contribute, the passion which we are seeing and the response is huge. This was a very technical talk, and yet I see a lot of passionate people wanting to interact with you, wanting to listen to you. Thank you so much to all of them. And thank you to the Vishwa team for coming up with such seamless talks, simple talks, talks from people who are experts, talks from people who are hidden gems. Thank you so much to the team for taking the initiative and independently doing everything and so impeccably. I'd just like to take a few minutes and explain that of late, Vishwa has declared that we are going to have Swachh Hyderabad 2027. We had two sessions, one in July 20th and one in August 14th. And the response we got was tremendous. The kind of people who came were of great quality, from different professional backgrounds, completely voluntary. In fact, the last talk was on a weekday. Surprisingly, there were 100 people out there. We were expecting 50 and we had 100 people sitting there. And their zeal to make Hyderabad, to contribute, to participate was commendable. And the first in the July 20th talk, we had the overall picture of how to make Hyderabad a zero waste was the discussion about. Then we, as a progression, we have decided that it will be put a few verticals. One of them will be communities, apartments, and colonies. The second would be restaurants. Then there would be hospitals. Then there would be industries. Like that, a few verticals were made. And so as a follow-up, we did with communities in the second July 14th meeting. From that meeting, we have come out with 4 committees. One of them is, there are around 8,000 communities with 100 people, 100 houses, above 100 houses. And there are around 30,000 communities with less than 100 houses. So we may have gotten around 50 to 70 representatives from different communities. So the first committee will work on expanding the reach of more communities coming into the fold of working towards zero waste. The second community will work towards creating a blueprint on how to make it possible. What are the processes to follow? What kind of waste are being collected? How is it going to be segregated? Who is going to take it on for recycling it or reusing it? The third community will take on this blueprint and will train the new communities into implementing it and auditing it. The fourth committee will give a list of all the different startups, organizations which are there working towards making it zero waste. Like where do I dispose glass? I'm an individual, because there are different sizes of communities. Some communities are big, some communities are small. So this community will make a list of all the vendors they can reach out to dispose anything. Yeah, with this, we will ask a few questions. Mr. Sudhakar Vemulupalli, please unmute yourself and come on video. Yes. Can you ask your question? Yeah. మాట వినిపించలేదండి.
Now my question.
Yeah. Now is okay.
Yes.
Sir, good morning to everyone. So I'm Sudhakar Rao Vemulpalli from Hyderabad. I'm first timer in this well-knowledge group, and I'm thank you for getting know and allowing me to participate. So basically, nowadays in my colony around or some in Hyderabad or any city, every day one street vegetable and fruits markets are happening, open markets. After the sales, very late night, all waste are being kept aside, roads, and people are moving away. Morning time, municipal administration cleans the activity, etc., etc. Sir, can we use this vegetable or flowers or fruits waste using your technology to generate a green energy? This is my issue, sir. And also, is there any incubation facility in Hyderabad to learn this technology for non-techie people also? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhakar. The point is valid, but what I would suggest is the problem that you have suggested, maybe there are other options available, because plasma is an energy intensive field. And so here, because this is biodegradable waste, compostable waste, it is always better that we use conventional composting technologies. Now they are very state-of-art technologies are available. You just send the waste and it will bring it will not only generate combustible gas, but it will also generate good manure. So that is always preferred. Why I had specifically indicated the floral waste idea was it was very specific to one type of very pious considered waste, which is considered very pious, right? So nobody likes to throw that waste in dustbin. So that was specific this thing. Otherwise, this is an energy intensive process. So there are other good alternatives available. So I would strongly advise you. There is one DAE technology also, which is available. Maybe Meena Ravindran madam is well versed with that. So she'll be able to convey more details if required locally within Hyderabad. Thank you.
Okay. Next question is from Dr. Dattatreya. He's from Assam, Arunachal. Can we also convert eggshell too in this technology?
Madam, can you repeat?
Can we convert eggshells in the plasma?
Eggshells.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea about the compositional aspects. Let me be very clear. All the inorganics, silicon dioxide, aluminum oxide, or anything which is inorganic will remain there. Whatever it is organic, comprised of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, other things, will get converted to gas. So if your eggshells comprise of good level of organic content, yes, they can be converted to energy. And whatever will be the inorganic part will remain in the bottom. You can also melt and liquefy this the inorganic part, but that is always not viable economically. So that is always preferred on the other side. Yeah, please. Next.
Next question. What about saloon waste? By Mr. Sandeep Kumar.
Yes, saloon waste generally I'd like to indicate we had been approached by one company in Hyderabad, which is they are into hair artificial wig manufacturing. So they collect these kind of different hairs from several parts of the locations across the country, and then they classify and create wigs. So they had come to us not for disposal. They had come to us for the purpose of giving them specific color, and specific plasma treatment helps them weave a wig properly. So plasma was modifying the surface using a non-thermal plasma in a better way. Disposal, yes, you can always dispose the hair, but it is everything trickles down to economy, right? So whether it is economical to use this technology should be investigated first.
Hello,
Yes.
Namaste. Dr. Nirav, it's a wonderful Indian-made solution for waste disposal. Thank you for the information. I have 3 questions. I don't know if I can just make it fast. Is the cost of setting up plasma method of solid waste management is doable, economical, and sustainable, and commensurate with benefits? 1. Would you like to answer that?
Then we'll go to the next question, sir.
Please.
Okay, I'll answer you. The sustainability purely depends because on the economics. And if we want to make the economics viable, the waste has to have substantial energy. If I have to heat sand, right, it is not going to give gases which I can use anywhere else, right? Sand is going to get heated and again cool down. So if we are able to blend high calorific value waste, such as plastics or those like epoxy, which are industrially hazardous, if these waste are clubbed and merged, blended with municipal solid waste, organic component, then viability is possible. Again, I gave an indication that today the windmill energy is very, very cheap. So the windmill energy producers do not get sufficient revenue. They are not able to get sufficient revenue. Rather, they can divert their energy to these kind of projects, and they can utilize that energy into disposal of waste and can generate a carbon neutral. This is a very big business model people can think about.
Well, sir, it's right. You are right about wind energy. Government can adopt it because they are the biggest landholder landholders anywhere. Wastelands are there and unused lands are there. I hope they will take it up. My second question is, as an anti-tobacco activist, I am worried about the damage to environment being created by discarded cigarette butts filters of non-biodegradable cellulose acetate. Can plasma method help handling this toxic waste? How to, the third one, last one I'll take later. I'm talking about cigarette butts. They are in billions and they are floating in the seas and they are visual pollution also. And they are non-biodegradable. Even after 100 years, they may not disintegrate. What can be done about it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. Only thing is, we will need to have the composition of these kind of cigarette butts. In
Cellulose
what
acetate.
form are they? So we just have to, you can just reach out to the email address that we have given,
Yes.
and we can figure out how we can help you out on this.
Okay. Thank you. I will do
Thank
that.
you very much.
And my last question, how to make people be responsible citizens since they are the culprits of waste generators, knowing fully well that it is not good for them to throw litter in front of others' houses. In the middle of the night, they come in the wonderful cars, drop plastic covers near different houses or street corners. How to make them responsible citizens?
Yeah, probably I'm not the right person to answer the third question.
I'll answer that. The first step that we can take is to create awareness.
Awareness is there, ma'am. And
Lay
I
there.
tell you,
It's
in
not.
Mysore,
Mhm.
in Mysore city, they have even fixed a litter-proof place. Okay, you will be fined 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees if you are found. And they have even fixed some CCTVs also in some places. Still, people continue to come in the middle of the night and throw and run away. In fact, I had taken some of those things from the street and gone back and put it in the same house as compound. I got very nice bangings from them also. It's not your grandfather's property, it's the street. That's the kind of answer. Irresponsible people. People must become, you know why we call them my suru? My is mine. Suru means chat. My suru. Still they don't bother. Anyway, thanks. It's a wonderful thing.
As
And
I
please
said,
continue.
As I said, Mr. Vasant Kumar, when we started, 25 people would come for a talk. And my team would say, let's not have environmental talk, let's have talks on children only. I said, no, because this is the situation. Every month, I want you to have an environmental talk, or every 2 months, so that we build the awareness. And it's really applaudable to see the number of people today versus what it was 3 years ago.
I have attended earlier also. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, Mr. Shumel, would you like to unmute yourself and ask quickly?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much on a very interesting and awesome presentation. And I want to ask you a very short question. How development plasma technologies can support resolution problems of social inequality and poverty?
Yeah,
In socially unprivileged locations like slums, can they use the plasma technology? Is that your question, Mr. Shumel?
Yeah, how plasma technology can support resolution problems of poverty and social inequality.
Okay.
I think their plasma technology does not look at who is using the technology, right? It's like whether we have to cultivate a business model as to suppose there are rack picker association, there are in slum areas. So there can be some NGO which can have a captive plant which generates this kind of takes the plastic waste from these kind of rack pickers converts them into hydrogen, useful hydrogen and synthetic fuel, right? So, and then this hydrogen can be sold off to large companies who are needing this, right? Petrochemical companies, they need hydrogen in a significant number. Now, this can also be, now the revenue can always be incentivized with the people who brought the waste, right? So this is more of a social business model that will be at this. Plasma technology as such, I don't know whether uh, it's like a tool, right? Who holds the tool decides how he or she would be using the tool, right? So there are possibilities where it can be helped. It can be used for marginalized public and poor people from poor background. Uh, but it again needs a lot of supportive people from all the ecosystem to be there contributing to this.
Okay, so what I have observed, Shmuel, is people who belong to well-to-do, who are socially in a better position, they have cleaner homes, they have clean ways to send away their waste. But the underprivileged who live in slums, they live in 1 or 2 rooms, and they will have 3 families: the mother's family, the grandparents' family, and the children, couple of children and their wives stay. And they will have nalas or streams, the drains, open right in front of their homes, filled with plastics. In India today, if you see the older villages, if you see 100 years ago India, whether you were rich or whether you were poor, your homes were clean, your homes were beautiful, it was surrounded by fields. Whereas today, it has become fashionable to have biscuits, kurkures, chips, which are using plastics. And the underprivileged think it is a privilege to use those kind of snacks rather than a peanut chicky or sesame chicky. We had nutritious food previously, which is being replaced by non-nutritious packaged food. Now, this is a trend that is happening. Previously, people had in India had bath with the flour of basin. It's called basin and other items, which were very good for the environment. Today, if they are using a Lifebuoy soap, it's a privilege. Today, if they're using a shampoo instead of soap nut, it's a privilege. So the awareness in the underprivileged is very low. There is zero understanding that they need to segregate the waste. There is zero understanding that they're living in areas where it is filled with plastics. Now, to say that there needs to be equality, the only way that can be brought about is through education and awareness. And thankfully, in India of late, we have noticed a few top movie stars are actually working on social causes. Some of them on toilets, some of them on sanitary pads. And we hope then that in the near future, there will be movies which will talk about segregation of waste, the impact it's going to have, why villages which were so beautiful in the previous days are filled with, when you go into a village today, we are invited with dump. When you go to the streams which were beautiful before, are filled with plastics. The only way to do is to create awareness. And I'm thinking that in a way, COVID did start the wheel. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, this answer, just I want to ask another little question. I want to ask what is the policy of Indian government, Indian authorities in relation development and encouraging plasma technologies?
Yeah, we have the government of India. If you can just log into the website startupindia.gov.in, We'll find out all the details of how startups are being supported by the Government of India policy. And we are also trying to leverage those policies so that we can support more number of entrepreneurs and startups.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So since the talk is coming to an end, we will continue the question and answer session after the talk is over. I want to make a special thanks to Ms. Meena Ravindran for introducing us to such a fantastic topic of plasma technology. I didn't even know it existed. And to our speaker, Dr. Nirav Jamnapara. Thank you so much. And thank you once again to all the audience and to our speaker, Dr. Nirav. I'll just conclude it with the upcoming talks. Dr. Sumitra Veluri, PhD in dance with Potti Sriramulu Telugu University. Her research focused on origin and development of Kuchipudi dance. This talk will be on 24th August, 11 a.m. The next talk is by Mr. Kiran Kumar, CEO, founder of Dasubhashitam. This is it's really sad, you know. I come from the Andhra Telangana background, where Telugu, one of the biggest film industries in India, comes from. And both Telangana and Andhra have been neglecting Telugu and have been giving a picture that it is great to have a primary education in English, to teach people English. Mr. Kiran Kumar has been doing some fantastic work in this area, and he's going to come and talk on Indian literature. It would be really nice if all of you could come and join. And most of our talks don't get promoted on Facebook and Instagram, on social media. So we request you to share it with friends and family who would be interested in these topics. Yeah, with this, thank you so much. Ms. Meena, would you like to talk?
Thank you, and Dr. Meera. Basically, I just wanted, it's not a question or anything. I've attended two talks of, two events conducted by Viswa. And it was in the first event that I got the opportunity to stand up, because I heard a lot of speakers there, and they were speaking of various projects or processes that are being used for waste management, different types of solid waste management. And I found that there is something which is available in our department and it is not figuring anywhere. So I was a little pained, actually, as Nirav knows already. I used to try to make it happen in my organization before I retired, but it didn't happen. But I'm so happy to know that they are doing it in the new project in Kota. And well, I didn't know this before I spoke to him recently, but I was feeling the pain of not having the technology enough exposure here in Hyderabad. So that is how I stood up there, just impromptu. I stood up there and I said, oh, we have this technology. After that, after saying that, I was a little doubtful. Oh my God, I don't know where the technology stands now. And then to add to my worries, they called me and asked, when can this talk be there? So then quickly I talked to Nirav and made this happen. And I'm so glad. And when I was talking to him, I came to know that they even formed a company which is taking up these projects very seriously. They are going all over India. And everything added up, and I felt that just the right moment, Vishwa did what they had to do, I did what I had to do, and Nirav is here to fill the gap. So I think this is going to open up doors for a lot of opportunities for a lot of entrepreneurs, because we are giving I will say as we, because we are the same department, right? So we are giving away the technology for startups, and I hope a lot of youngsters will come forward and take it up. Actually, I'm sure we are ready to take the feedback and do whatever research is required or development is required to make the process better, efficient, more widely usable, all that. And I promise you, Nirav, and with the help of Vishwa, maybe we'll take it up to the government where it makes more impact. Is that okay, Shivani?
Oh,
We should reach. I mean, this is like at one level. We should reach that level where we can present this to the government, to those people who take decisions. And like I was talking very passionately in the last meeting also, as Shivani has seen. So I think we have lots of inputs. We have to connect the dots, and Vishwa is helping in that. I appreciate that. And so I'm the middle person here. So
Organize a meeting for you all. No issues.
so with the right people, and then Nirav is ready to come physically and talk to people here. Nirav, I promise you,
Yes.
we want you to come back and talk to the Osmania University. I don't know if Dr. Srinivas, I just tried to call him and include him in this talk. I send the link to him. Dr. Srinivas, who is the head of biodiversity in Osmania University. He has been asking me about the process for plastic management. They have a huge requirement there. So whether we can have smaller plants, like catering to a university, not
Absolutely.
the whole municipality, but a
Yes.
university, whether we can think like that. So for
fact-
that, I
in
hope
fact,
you
ma'am,
come to Hyderabad and talk to.
Sure, ma'am. In fact, we have a small idea wherein we can have a small plant which can be coupled with a gas generator.
Right.
So the gas generator will generate electricity, and it can make sustainability demonstration.
Yeah, I think this is a
Very much
very
possible.
good, very good option for universities, especially where
Yeah.
professional students are studying, and it's a very nice project. They could even get involved in all this project, making the project report, setting up the plant, running it, and all that. The students could be involved, and it's a very great learning experience also for them. So it is perfect for universities.
So is it it is already put into action and it is successful? Dr. Nirav?
Yes, ma'am. Technology has been commercialized to seven companies
Okay. And for how long has it
in
been?
India. So we are around 2016 onwards. The technology has been opened up for all the people,
And
and we are now pushing it heavily so that more business. See, general what happens is industry always has a hiccup. It's like who will break the ice, right? So change management is very critical. That people, first of all, they have a lot of apprehension whether it will work, it will not work. So we have a lot of background example also, and we also run a job shop specifically for this purpose, to demonstrate that okay, if you are not satisfied, you conduct a small study. We are open. We have our own system in our place. You come with your waste, we'll try to study, and we'll generate you data, and we'll give you the data. You see it with your own eyes. If you are satisfied, then we can move ahead. No problem with that.
so this Mr. Sandeep Pafna is asking, is it viable? What's the investment required?
That depends on the type of waste, what you want to do with the waste, whether electricity or other things. What is the throughput you need? What is the other system like this plasma systems? Along with it may need some other system just in case if you are getting a wet waste, right? So you will need to remove water for making it economically viable. Otherwise, water is not an issue. It can also take it up, but we don't want plasma to be used for heating water.
Ms. Meena,
Right?
would
So
you like
you can just come. Yeah, he can just write to us with his requirements, and we'll revert back to them.
Ms. Meena, there
No, I was trying to say that having smaller plants in that could be a starting point to prove the technology also for people locally. No,
Yes.
so I think I'm warming up to the idea of a university plant.
Ma'am, would you like to take the question and answer session? There are more than 40 messages and 3 people with their hands on, and we have half an hour. We'll have to be quick.
Nirav, are you free? This is Saturday, so I'm sure you're free today.
Yeah, I can be here till 12:30. No problem with that.
Good then. Shivani, together we can take up the questions. I won't be able to tell the technical part of it because that's completely
You
in.
ask the questions that people have asking. It's in the chat box, and you can ask the people who raised their
Yeah,
hand.
okay. You want me to do your work?
No, you are more passionate about it, so it'll add up. It'll add
Oh.
a different flavor to it.
Right. Okay, let me see. Chat box dekh le.
Until you see the chat box, let Mr. Rajiv Sharma ask his question.
Yes. Yes.
Good afternoon, Dr. Nirav. Thank you so much for the talk. We are a startup which is incubated at IIT Ropar, and we are working on agri residue, especially paddy straw, which causes a lot of pollution after the harvest of paddy. So we are exploring gasification as a technology. So after your talk, would like to explore plasma, and I have also put in a question: what is the energy balance between what goes in and what goes out? Have you tried out or experimented with agri residues such as rice straw and rice stubble?
No, we have not done for rice straw and rice stubble, mainly because, first of all, we work with somebody. We do not do something on our own and try to generate data and then try to sell off the know-how. It's when a company comes to us, they are working with us together. So that's how we do. Generally, agro waste people do not come to us because there are a lot of conventional agro gasifiers being in place. Now, there have been some recent NGT has raised certain issues in specifically with reference to tar gas generation from
Yes.
the agro waste. And
Right.
yes, plasma can treat the tar gas. There are certain design changes that we can suggest, and we can make it workable. No issues with that.
Vis-a-vis energy input versus output, because we are looking at green hydrogen as one of the products.
Yeah. See, basically, for this, we would need to understand the compositional, the calorific value details, bomb calorimetry data, and all these things. We will need to understand, and then we'll be able to tell you, because the amount of heat required per kg solid, it depends strongly on the composition of the waste.
Right.
If I have more number of inorganics, right? So inorganics will only consume energy.
Right.
So you can just share with me your requirement, and then we'll revert back to you for sure.
I'll reach out to you. Thank you so much.
Right? Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. And we are here for startups, so you are most welcome, please.
Thanks once again.
I'm not sure up to which question you have covered. What I can see here is what is the energy balance for various feedstocks. Some with RS as the short form for their name.
Rajiv Sharma.
Rajiv Sharma.
Yeah,
Has it been
was
answered?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then there was another question about Sanjeev Jain wanted to associate with you. I'm sure he will do that. You have given the details, I hope, Nirav, and he will
Yeah,
get.
it's there in the chat box.
Yeah. Okay. So someone wanted the video presentation. Will you be putting it up?
We'll be able to do that now because we are short of time.
Right. No, maybe it can come in the group later, Shivani.
It can be
Yeah.
sent.
Yeah. Okay. So what else is there? Yeah, somebody was talking about the waste generated after every weekday market, Raitu Bazaar, what we call. So the best option for that, I would say, is biogas plants. And actually, we are looking at this option. We have another group of entrepreneurs working on this. Messrs. Ahuja Engineers, they are also good team members. We are all working together for the plant in Osman University. And now we are talking with Mahindra University and Central University and all that. So if we could have these plants in various localities where these markets happen, so that could be a central point where even the community waste can go, community food waste can go. We are actually talking about these options. So for those who are listening in, this talk is happening parallelly. So I don't think plasma technology is a good option. Like Nirav said, it's highly energy. We have to make it energy efficient. Wet waste would end up taking a lot of energy just for drying it up, and doesn't make sense. So that's the answer for those who are having doubt about wet waste management. And who else? What else? Any other question? Electrodes. There is some technical question. Electrode used, and is there
It's
anything
graphite.
Eggshells.
Electrode is graphite.
Yeah. That's all. I'm not able to see any more questions, any more.
Yeah, Mr. Abhinav, his question is, what are the type of electrodes used in the plasma gasification process?
Yeah, just said that.
Yeah, we generally we have a very a patented graphite-based electrode system. So we do not have generally conventionally world over. If you see, there are metallic electrodes which are water cooled so that the high temperature plasmas do not melt them or do not puncture them, right? And there is a plasmagen gas which is going through, which is ionized, and this gas is then transferring the heat to the waste. What we do is we use the graphite electrodes, which are consumable electrodes. They get consumed as they get used. And so that we do not use any gas, we do not use any water cooling. It saves a lot of energy. So this is specifically made for our Indian scenario where water cooling, maintaining the water quality. Meena madam might be knowing maintaining water quality in boilers or energy systems is so critical. So we have made this, removed all these hindrances during our evolution technology.
Question from Mr. Harish, is plasma technology, what about carbon dioxide generated? Any technology for CO2 capture after pyrolysis? Will it be destroyed? Will it
What we do is we use part of CO2 we can use in to be fed into the system. So what CO2 does is CO2 does the heat capture, high temperature heat capture. So it is used for homogenizing the temperature within this thing, and at the same time it is not contributing directly as a NOx component or this thing, right? And the carbon within the waste will also react with the CO2 to form CO molecule, which is exothermic. So the energy requirement on plasma part will come down, right? So there are several possibilities. We, as such, as of now, we have no specific address being made with reference to the CO2 capture. But there are ways in which we can have another technology, plasma-based technology, which we call plasma activated water technology. It is used to cultivate and grow algae so that algae can absorb more carbon dioxide. And after they absorb, they swell, we can use the plasma activated water of a different configuration to stress them out. And when at the end of life, the algae releases specific fuels, synthetic fuels. So this CO2 can be used can be captured by the algae, and this algae can result in the formation of synthetic fuel, naturally derived synthetic fuel, right? So there are possibilities and options available. There are technologies scatteredly available within the country also. As Meena madam said, we only have to connect the dots. We are plasma experts. There can be somebody who is a catalytic expert. There is somebody who may be a expert in algae technology. So there can be a continuously integrated solution that can be evolved.
Okay, Mr. Abhilash, would you unmute yourself? You've raised your hands.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Can we completely depend on this technology for plastic recycling? If so, yes, sir.
So there is a difference in plastic recycling and disposal. When we say recycling, it is again coming back to the system. Here we are breaking the entire plastic. We are converting it to gas. Right? And that gas has specific use. Suppose we are separating hydrogen and using in petrochemical or IC engines or whatever in the future in vehicles. So that then it is a further use. Recycling is a word where we are again sending it back to the manufacturing part. It again takes another form of plastic and then comes back. So government says reduce, reuse, and recycle. These are the main three things. So disposal should always become at the last option. So here we try to dispose of plastics which are problematic, which are not possible to be recycled, or which are toxic or hazardous. All those kind of plastics can be addressed. Like I was referring to the epoxy waste, right? So epoxy manufacture today we have a lot of carbon fiber composite, I mean to say glass fiber composite industries. they might be generating a lot of epoxy based waste. Now, this epoxy waste is having very high calorific value. Can be enough energy can be derived from that. I hope I
Last-
could answer your question, Abhilash.
So would you say, Nirav, it's a sort of mixed waste? If there is some mixed waste, it's very difficult to segregate it. Then, I mean, if good plastic is available in such a form, then that also could be treated. Pyrohydrolysis could be done for that. So if there is very good plastic separately available, preference should be for recycle methods.
Yes, there are so many AI segregators that can segregate. Can this technology take all types of plastics? I mean, why the plastic is still spread over the world? Because of many of the plastics are unable to recycle now, ma'am. So the plastics which are unable to recycle, those plastic can this technology use and use
Yes,
for energy production.
Yes,
yes,
yes, right.
yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I think we've pretty much exhausted all the questions. Saroja, we live in a society in any portable device to save rainwater as individuals effort. I'm not clear what the question is. Yeah. So what I understood from the last question is if it is waste which we're not able to segregate, this is the best kind of technology to use in the market as of today.
And difficult to recycle plastics like you said kurkure packet, like, so it has got some lining and all that. That kind of plastic is
madam.
very difficult to recycle.
Yeah, madam,
become-
those are metallized plastic. We call
Yeah,
that
metal.
metallized plastics. And we had recently, some time back, we had been approached by one of the companies that they have these metallized plastics. What can be done? So these, I attended one of the workshop, and there are various large multinational companies who are making this kind of packaging material, including multi-layer plastics, and they are also facing these problems. So I would strongly like to see that if we are able to connect all the CSR thing and the extended, there is something known as extended producer responsibility in the waste management rules. So we can make use of the EPR condition, and we can also utilize the CSR activities to see that a common facility of this kind can be used, can be established, and it can be made to run on a sustainable basis.
Yes.
And what I'm understanding is using this technology, we are creating energy which can, if you to use it in a village, it can be used for the current out there. Got it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Fantastic. So I hope Andhra will pick it up in a big way. Yeah.
Actually, I just wanted to mention I'm working for some village development also, Burgula village here near to our airport. So that is also it's an NGO, Pragati Global. So there we are planning to have certain environment sustainability projects, little projects for the village. There are a very already evolved group of people there because of last 15 years of Pragati working with them. School has improved, children are much more aware, parents are, it's a village. But so we thought we can have this kind of plants there also. That's why I'm very attracted towards smaller plants, Mira. So which can go in villages, mandals and all that, no?
Yeah.
So like
We started off with a small plant, so we will be able to do that. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you so much. We had a wonderful talk, very enlightening talk, and very proud that it's made in India.
Thank you, Shivani. I think you deserve a big thank you from us. Yes, Nirav, Baki, Nirav bolenge.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank Meena madam for connecting me to this portal. And because we have, with our limited resources, we are not able to reach out to each and every part of India, trying to say that, okay, we have something, let's do something together, right? And we also want everyone to work in a collective way. It's not just that, okay, only one organization will do everything. We want to have a collective leadership, collective initiative. And this is, I think, one of the good forums which I foresee. I'm very much hopeful that will help in demonstrating this kind of feasibility, connecting all the dots and making all the resources work. Thank you, Shivani madam, also, and thank you everyone who have been patiently listening, and thank you to your team as well, Vishwa team, for conducting this very
We are doing
nicely.
excellent
Thank you very
coordination work.
much.
Vishwa team,
Thank you.
well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So please, the breakout room.